Okay, friends and neighbors, DK here with Mr. V Amps, and we have a kinda grubby Peavey Encore 65. Now, if you recall, I don't know, 5 years ago, for all you veteran viewers, all 4 of you, I had one of these on the channel that I had gotten at the pawn shop, and it actually worked, and I still have it, and I even made a record on it. This is dirty. That's got mysterious white crust on the side of it. Probably dug out of a basement, you know. More mysterious white crust. So this cabinet is going to need to be cleaned. We have tubes. Our 6L6 tubes are peeking out at us there. There's 2 of them in there. Looks like our tubes are in there. Should we just turn this on and see if it explodes? Maybe we'll take a little more care than that. I don't know though. Just turning it on and seeing if it explodes is fun. This is an internal fuse, so you can't just beep boop one in there and pull it out. The reverb tank is in the bottom there, in its paper. I think we got some bonus items. We got an extra tube. Savtech 5881 WXT. That's a 6L6 GC, even though it says 5881 on it. That's probably what's in here, I think, maybe. Yeah, feels like it. That's what's in the up there. And what else? We have a cracked, broken plastic recorder that feels really greasy. The Greasy Whistle. That should be the name for your new punk rock band. Unfortunately, I think that's going to go away. That cracked plastic, I think, is going to make that one unsalvageable. For those of you who are really hoping to hear me play a recorder solo and play My Heart Will Go On, that ain't going to happen. I don't feel anything else in here. And our power cord doesn't have the end broken off of it. So I'm hopeful. Scorpion speaker, that would be the original speaker, same one that I have in my other Encore 65. So we're going to definitely have to clean and degrease this amp, but we should probably see if it works. Having an extra power tube makes me a little suspicious that somebody might have been troubleshooting something, so let's at least stick these in the tester and see what we have. Okay, so our bonus tube passed with a 9, so this tube isn't broken. Okay, so all of the tubes passed. 2 of them, the bonus tube and this tube, have a date of 9903, which I'm guessing is March of 1999, where this one is like December of 99, so it's a little later. These 2 have the same date code and they're a little bit better matched. They're not a perfect match, but they're pretty close. And they both tested good, so I guess we'll stick these in the amp when we power it up. I don't see any reason not to try. Scooby-Doo just found a blown fuse at the bottom of the amplifier chassis. Maybe we should open this thing up before we turn it on, just for fun. Okay, well, no suspicious looking fuses in here. These are all values that match. 6 amp, 3 amp, and 1 amps. You did a lot of fusing in this. It actually kind of probably helps you troubleshoot it. But I did see, I don't see any caps that are exploding or blowing up or nothing. But take a look at that tube socket. We got 1 pin there. That's our 6L6 that would hang down on the right hand side. We got 1 pin that looks like it got really, really hot. And I'm wondering if that's why we have an extra tube. Again, the tube that was there passed, so I'm wondering if maybe the original tubes went kapoof and then, you know, something doofy happened. I don't know, but I think I'm going to need to flip this board and investigate that further. Okay, so in dismantling this, this still has the original Peavey tubes in the preamp section. And these are from like the early 80s, I think. This is like early 80s, and I think these are actually USA made tubes, if I remember right. It usually says on them, but Yeah, that stamping. The stamping certainly looks akin to it. Looking for Made in USA on here, if it's gonna say, yeah, Made in USA. What do you know? So I don't know if that's a Sylvania or what that is. I know I got another one from like the early 90s or late 80s or something, and that was starting to use import tubes. That's a USA tube. Let's see. Ooh, a tungscrum made in Hungary. Okay, they decided to put that in there. I don't know if that's a replacement or that's what's shipped in it. One would think there would be all. Oh, there's another tungscrum. Okay. Okay, so this is a one-sided board, and that connector right there, that connection is the one that had the burn mark on the other side. Again, it doesn't look bad, and when I put the meter in there to make sure that pin was making connection, it was, but I'm just going to soften and reflow that solder joint just to feel better about it, and then I'm going to say we're probably okay. I do have a feeling I'm the first guy in here. Everything looks pretty original, and the glue was kind of still holding down all the connectors. Okay, so I did a little bit of reflowing on that. Couldn't detect any connectivity problem to the board there with that one. So what happened, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to know. But since this is out, it's just a good opportunity to clean all the pots. And we'll put it back in and give it a test. Okay, so I've cleaned all the pots on the board. Now I'm often asked how to clean the pots by the people who haven't been watching this channel for eons. For the most part, on your typical amp, I'm going to take Max Pro electrical lubricant or electronics lubricant, which does have some cleaning properties in it. I'm going to go into the pot there and find where the legs go, because where the legs go you can get under the cap, and we just put a little puff just into it, and then you just turn it back and forth a whole bunch of times. So it's difficult to film any kind of angle that you can see it doing it on a PC board. So here's a pot that's not in a PC board, so you can see what I'm talking about. And if it's really bad, you can try, this is an empty of the Max Pro contact cleaner. If you want to know where to get this stuff, buy it on reverb.com. It's at my Reverb store. I have it there for sale. I'm an authorized agent for selling it. Yeehaw. Okay, so one of the tungscrum tubes tested bad, so I replaced it with one of these. I have no opinions of these tubes other than they're currently affordable. And I've got the amp turned on, but I'm applying 0 volts to it. I've got a speaker on it, so we're just going to bring it up, I guess, on the variac because it's been dormant for a while. So we'll start at about 26 volts. We're creeping up. Okay, so the power light is on a little bit. That LED's coming up. We're at 40 volts. We're at 50 volts. We're at 65 volts. Usually around 80 I start to get sound. I got another LED here. I'm surprised I don't have the status light on. That's usually the one that kicks on after they come off a standby. Up there comes the green one. So we're at 65, 72. Yep, I got sound. Here it comes. Okay. I sprayed a little bit of cleaner in the preamp, but apparently I need to spray a little more in there because it's a little fuzzy fizzy. Just turning it seems to have helped. That's the drive circuit. That's the master volume, bass, mid, treble, presence. All those are working. The reverb is the question. Does the reverb work? And since the reverb connects here, so odds are the pickup for the reverb works. So at this point I'm fairly confident that this amp is going to be okay. Let's take it up to 110 now. I see nothing smoking, I see nothing whatever, everything looks fine, sounds fine. The only hum and noise I hear is like the hum and noise I would expect to get. It's all coming through the reverb. If I turn all the sound sources off, the amp is extremely quiet, so it's not humming or buzzing or doing anything terrible. We're at 105 or whatever. There's 118, so that's our full wall voltage. I just heard a tube go ting, but it didn't sound like sparky bad tinging. It just sounded like the tubes warming up when they kind of make ping and ting noises. And our amp is, of course, still on. So other than there being a bit more, and it's cleaning up, other than being a bit of noise in the preamp pod here, everything seems pretty kosher. So I'm going to call this good for now, and then I'm going to clean up the cabinet, and then I suppose we just need to put a little bit of time in it and make sure that it's going to behave itself, you know, for a while. But yeah, one of these Tungsgrum 12AXs tested as weak, so I replaced that one with the PS Vane, however you pronounce that, and we're using the 2 of the 3 6L6 GCs that are labeled 5881WXC or whatever the Sovtex. Those are really a 12A, or they're really a 6L6 GC. They can handle 6L6 GC voltages. So if you do see these Sovtech, you know, like I say, they say 5881WGC or whatever on it. If you see those in an amp, don't think they're 5881s, think they're 6L6 GCs. That's kind of aggravating that they labeled them that way, but I have found as a rookie that if you pull these out of an amp and put in 5881s, your new 5881s are not going to last very long. But the other Tungsgrum tested okay, not fantastic, but well within working parameters. The US made tube tested very good, and the 12AT7 tested very good. So the 2 US tubes were really good. The 2 Hungarian tubes were, one of them was okay and one of them was not. So there you go. Encore 65. Now I need to clean all the chia pets off of it and all the dust rabbits, and then I think we're going to have an amp. Alright, cool. Okay kids, welcome back. Hey, I thought I was done with this Peavey, and then I just decided, after I cleaned the cabinet up and everything was cool, and then I started playing it. When I've got it on the distortion channel and I've got it cranked up where it can vibrate, I'm getting this weird high frequency treble crackly. Of course it's not going to do it now. There it goes. There, you can, hopefully you can hear that. What's interesting is, I know we had a bonus tube in here. If I put my finger on one of the power tubes and just steady it so it can't vibrate. Oh, come on, do it. Do it. I can stop the crackling. If I hold that tube, it stops the crackling in its tracks. So either that tube socket is screwed up, or there was a reason they had changed the tube. So I'm going to try the other tube since they all tested good. So I got to take it back apart again. Lucky me. Now if you notice, our board has kind of got a little wave to it, and that's on account of heat from the power tubes, which are hot, and flex and heat and movement. Never good. We've got a couple of scratches and scrapes down here. I mean, I didn't do these. I don't know if that's just been there for years or what, but it's behaving like there's a wiggly jiggly solder joint. So I'm just going to go through and try to reflow this board, maybe walk around and beep a few things. Essentially, when I put my thumb on one of the power tubes and kind of hold it, I'm obviously holding it kind of in this socket and stopping whatever vibration is traveling in this area of the board. So, great. Okay, kids, so I went to Busy Town on this and resoldered a lot of the points here, but I still don't trust it. So we're going to put it back in the chassis with some screws, and then we're going to put some noise through it and start poking it with a stick. Okay, so I've got the amp and a bench speaker going, and I'm playing some stupid music from the YouTube library. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to use my wood stick and poke various components. And of course I'm going to use one hand and do all of the safety stuff because reasons. I'll let you know what we find. Okay. So I've been doing this for quite a while. It seems to be okay. I can't get it to glitch, because of course I can't get it to glitch. But I did resolder a whole bunch of stuff in anticipation of making it this difficult to make it glitch. But tapping around on this is yielding nada. So that's a good sign, right? It's a good problem. Of course it's a good problem to have. I can't make it act up. So I guess now we have to try it with its original speaker again. Ugh. If this thing rattles again, I'm going to be mad. Okay, so why was it mad at me? I have no idea. We fast forwarded a few weeks. Before, the volume was just low. It just wasn't loud. These amps can be really loud. I mean really loud. And it wasn't loud. And that made me unhappy. So, I don't know. Maybe it was a guitar. Maybe it was a cord. Maybe it was a connection. I don't know. It's being good now. But what I decided to do was to bring out the signal tracer. Now, it probably would have been fun to watch this thing in action, but it doesn't do that much. What it is it's a little audio amplifier, and it's got a speaker. That black thing's a speaker, so it can go boop-de-beep. And I've got my little signal generator doodad. Hook that up to the input jack. See, I put a little quarter plug on there, plugged it into the input jack, and then I had beep in there, you know, so there's a beep tone going through it. And I can hear it out of the speaker, but it wasn't as loud as I thought it should be, or whatever. So I was able to take the probe, and you know, I had a separate amplifier here, so I could set where I wanted to gain or how loud it could be, and I could walk through the circuit. I could walk through the tubes. I could follow it through the schematic and figure out where the signal was going down the toilet. Now the funny thing is I didn't find out where the signal was going down the toilet. By the time I got mad at it, put it aside for 2, 3, 4 weeks, I don't know, whatever I did, and then I got back to it, it's decided to be an angel ever since. So apparently maybe I had a screw loose, maybe I had a connection loose, maybe I had a bum cable from my guitar. I don't freaking know. But I do know I want to get this one a foot switch like I have for my other one. That is my other one, by the way. And it's a CE distribution catalog, by the way, for us distributors. Yeehaw. But that foot switch will allow you to turn off the pump circuit and turn on the you can go with a completely clean preamp. So okay, by default on these amps, all this, these two and this, all three of these are enabled, okay? So you can turn up the preamp quite a bit and have post up a little bit, but unless you kind of nudge that off 0, the signal's going to be low. And maybe I just forgot about that. But if you've got a foot switch here with a, which in this case I labeled this button drive. I don't know what they originally labeled it, but this will separate it, where this is a preamp by itself, perfectly clean, and then you click the switch and it'll switch over to this one, which is your drive and your out. So yeah, if you have this foot switch, you can click that, that'll disable this, and then this is just your, that's just like a clean volume, like Fender-esque, right? With no master volume to it. So yeah, so the other Encore is working okay now. You can tell these are different ones because this one's got a little cracked tails on the Peavey logo. Helps if I tune the guitar a little more. Okay, so I would say our Peavey Encore 65 is working acceptably well. I have let it cook for a good half hour or so before playing our demo to see if anything was going to thermally arise or it was going to click or pop or do anything funky, and it hasn't done anything funky. So I think we're good. Anyway, that was just a non-cooperative amp, and maybe it was just a stressed out technician working on it, but I've had my break, now it's time to get back to work. Thanks for watching, have a great day.